171, we have the Real Estate Smorgasbord with Beth Silverman, Part 2. We're going to get started right now.
How's everybody pronounce that word?
All right, episode 171, the Real Estate Smorgasbord. I keep looking at the title because I'm afraid I'm going to say smorgasbord.
That's it. You said there should be an H in it, but I think that's the
I
problem
said
with this.
There's not an H.
I know.
Everyone says it with an H, I believe.
I think I might too, though. Like, I don't say this word in a
Is this
smorgasbord.
the dummy in me? I don't want to out myself. A smorgasbord is just like a bunch of stuff.
It's
right?
a charcuterie board.
It's just a bunch of
already
stuff.
fighting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
it's a
making sure.
charcuterie board for sure.
I'm going to need everyone to settle down.
this is not fighting. If you watched episode 170, that we're not allowed to talk about anymore. There wasn't even fighting.
Fight
like
it if
that.
you can.
No,
Yeah.
there's a lot of shame.
All right, episode 171. We have Beth Silverman back. She's going to share. She's going to go deeper on the pad split investment strategy. She's going to go deeper on how she's done $23 million last year. I had to really emphasize that because when you say, look, you sold $23 million, I guess some people just assume lifetime sales for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So we have to really say $23 million last year just on investments, or is that everything in general?
Last year, that was my total.
That's amazing. I mean, and you were top, what, in Florida at EXP?
I was number 10.
Number
and then
10.
Number 94 in the United States.
So, in all of EXP?
Well, solo agent.
Solo
So
agent,
if
yeah.
There's the 89,000. Let's just call it 50,000.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. So, top 10 just in Florida and top 94.
Top 100.
Top
yeah.
100.
Get
Top
that.
94.
So,
But also,
it's a smorgasbord.
today I want to, this is for every realtor. Like, we're going to hit a smorgasbord because we're going to hit every topic. Because, again, I've been in this industry for so long and we offer such different viewpoints. So today, this is for realtors everywhere.
I love it. You know who else hits every topic, Beth? Mortgage Mike. He hits every topic out there. In fact, he's now doing land loans.
Oh.
He just implemented it. He's not going to like that I brought that out because he's. But you know what I
Don't
do.
sponsor this show
I
if you
feel
want
like
structure.
he
You knew what you were
cringes
signing up for.
every time we
He
do his
does.
spot.
I'm
You
gonna-
know what's not cringeworthy is Mike DeBacker, Mortgage Mike of Texas, the value and the videos that he is putting forward on
Yes.
social media. What's super cool as realtors is we try to provide value. So I've been in various Facebook groups, and obviously y'all know I've been a fan of the show. So I always knew Mortgage Mike of Texas, and people are like, I need a lender in Texas. I'm like, Mortgage Mike of Texas.
of course.
And Mike DeBacker, if you're a realtor and you're not following this guy on Instagram, you're missing the boat because he's really kicking it up in videos.
Here's what I love about Mortgage Mike. So
There's many
Mortgage Mike
things.
at Texas.com. Just go visit him. Go watch his. It's Mike D. I think on. I need to know his.
Underscore.
Mortgage
Mike-
__ Mike D.
Yeah, we
On
may need to
Insta.
change that. It's a little bit. I think we need to.
Dude,
improve
Mike D
that.
from the Beastie Boys. Get out of here.
I understand.
I
but-
did the whole. I sang half a verse of Shanky Rump last time. You
Yes,
want me to start from the top?
No, thank you.
I rock
No.
a house party at the top of the hat, and I beat a buddy down with the wood of my. No,
This one's gonna get deleted. So, but you know what I really love is that he's made a commitment to video content to educate realtors, and you know it's taken him some time. That green screen that he's putting together, where it's educating people where inflation's going, where interest rates are going, it's huge. So. Go to mortgagemikeoftexas.com and just go follow him. You're going to learn a lot. And right now, the lender that's willing to put the time in to educate not just you but your clients is going to be a valuable resource and a valuable partner to have, because there's a lot of lenders just, hey, do you have any buyers for me? Just send them my way.
I got an email from a lender today that asked me if I wanted to easily make $10,000 more a month, and I was like, hell yeah, dude. But
And then
I
what
don't.
did he say?
It was like starting OnlyFans.
Nothing. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for his VA to email me back.
It's probably selling solar.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Solar.
Yeah.
It's OnlyFans or solar. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
It's real bad.
It's
and
the
then,
feet.
Once you're done selling solar or OnlyFans, go and support Homeward DFW, because I wasn't going to do it on Armadillo because yesterday was Theron's birthday.
Happy
So I
birthday,
can't
Theron.
I can't say that Theron has an OnlyFans or sell solar.
I want to try to do a funny...
If Theron did have an OnlyFans, though, it would just be like it would be all fanny pack centered.
Fanny packs and
It would be
beards.
singing.
Yeah, that's all it would be. He can sing.
What if we did a funny
Yes.
TikTok or social media bit like people do, and we were door-to-door solar salesmen?
Can we mess with Dana?
But instead of selling solar panels, we had like a briefcase with like a really like a glowing bowling ball inside it that looked like a little sun.
Solar flares.
Speaking
trying
of
to sell it to
Theron,
people.
I am still waiting for my T-shirt with the one-page.
Oh, Theron.
Come on, Theron.
Now you owe Beth a birthday present.
dropping
So,
the ball.
yeah, we're going to switch it up. I mean, Homeward DFW, Dana, she's onboarding a lot of clients right now.
know.
I mean, I think in the last 30
12
days.
properties in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
She's pissed at us.
Yeah.
Wait till I tell her that my Lyft driver on the way here was a licensed electrician for 8 years in New York City, and she's a handyman, and she's unbelievable, and she's ready to go to work.
Nice. Yeah.
She'd be happy about that. That's vendor relations.
Yeah,
we need more of
Yeah,
those.
Hi, Dana.
We
I'm a
definitely
fan.
need more of that. So go to homewarddfw.com and then look for your home warranty needs. Contact Theron over at
Happy birthday, Theron.
Armadillo.1/Tor, Tore. And yesterday was his birthday. So as a belated B-Day present,
Hey.
you need to send him a warranty. And it makes up for all the birthday video messages he got from Livian.
What are you talking
He's
about?
like, oh, here's
Which,
another
by
one.
the
Oh,
way,
here's
like,
another one.
that's-
You
Guys,
here's another one.
sell out. So I get a message yesterday. Like, I've been very vocal. I mean, I like to share on this show, make real estate agents better. I'm out here building relationships through efficiency, and Nick's over here just dive bombing the shit out of my knees like a freaking 1980s cornerback. And all of a sudden, next thing I know, I get a text from Ted. He's like, and it was playful, of course, but it was like, I would thank you for the video, but I realized a whole bunch of other people got it. Now that your beard's longer, you should update your video.
So that's not me selling it out.
I know.
Your
That is
beard, first of all, your
hysterical.
beard is short.
I know.
And I'm like, and the background, yeah.
We do maybe
Sounds
need
like
to think
truth.
about that.
It
When
does.
you've got half the beard, it kind of doesn't really look like
It doesn't look the same. So
This is why
new
realtors
B-Day
don't change
videos
the way they
incoming.
look.
No, this is why I keep the beard the same.
Be Viking
pretty much
related.
all the time.
You keep it the same for the same reason that you Johnny Cash your outfit and just wear the same shirt all the time, which is efficient. I love it. Like, actually, super high producers like do this
Steve
with their
Jobs.
meals and stuff like that. Yeah,
Zuckerberg.
it's like it's a high sign of a high
Just saying.
producer. But if you see Nick outside of a good home team black shirt, you are at his house.
Do you
It's the only place that happens.
Do you think Nick has reached a level? Because I believe you can do this. That where he has shaved his beard into the exact same length so many times it no longer grows. He's just
wish.
trained it. Can you? Because
No,
because
he's a gorilla,
like your hair will
bro.
only grow
No,
so
look
long.
at all
Like
these
if you
No,
never
he's
cut your
scary.
hair, it won't be dragging on the
No,
ground 30
I
feet
wish so
behind
much
you.
like
It'll stop
underneath
at some
here.
point.
I mean, God, if I could just put a mask on that just trims it up and then like an automatic beard trimmer, like it just. and
You're
it just keeps
you're
it all the same.
obvious hair monster. I'm sneaky hair monster, and I feel your pain, dude.
Yeah.
It is it's
And-
absurd to try and maintain.
Automatic beard trimmer, like AI. Have
Yes.
you downloaded ChatGPT
Just like
and
ChatGPT.
Jasper yet?
We have Jasper. Brian and I have
I mean, this
Jasper.
is a
I know.
smorgasbord, so we're gonna really talk
I still
about
call
everything.
it Jarvis because I'm a renegade
That's
and
right.
I'm never going to change.
Yeah.
I don't care about copyright.
What
laws.
happened the day that I did send this to you guys, though? Right, like when I was sending you guys the rap music that Chat GPT was sending you.
It's pretty good.
And I saw this from our boy Mark, the lender. And Mark, dude, I'm not even gonna try with your last name because there's so many consonants and
Mark
vowels. And,
Z?
yeah, it's like, dude,
Or
every
no,
time.
it's Krensky.
Yeah, and dude, here's I will just mangle it, but we know each other and we're
It's
legit.
probably Krzyzewski.
It could, very well could be. It starts with a K, so let's leave that out. But he posted it, and the reason he drew me into it was he was like, "Guys, that's really cool." And like 10 minutes later, he made it write a rap song about lending, and of course, it was a terrible rap song, but it rhymed, and it did it. And so I went on there, and here's the thing: is because I want to dive into this, it's gotten busier, so we're not really like cracking the egg on this thing anymore. I've got like 75 blogs downloaded because I thought this might be a problem, and I went and I was like, "Hey, this and hey that and hey, dude, it's writing people's YouTube descriptions, freaking blogs, listing presentations. Like, what were you talking
plans.
about at lunch? That lady, that video you saw?
Yeah. This girl's on YouTube, and so she was like fast forwarding all the things she had to do for realtors, and she was like, so of course copywriters everywhere are freaking out, and they're like, "Oh no, but Google knows it's an AI." She's like, "Okay, you change some stuff."
Yeah.
And she just, what's great is when ChatGPT does something for you, please don't hesitate to ask it to make some changes,
Yeah.
and it keeps tweaking and learning and growing, and we should all be paying for this site.
Well,
very
that's
soon.
what I was about. I'm going to future cast this for you, and I'm going to make a point about this. Jesse, very quickly, can you pull up, if you guys don't remember, in the early days of the interwebs, domain names were free. You could just register domain names for free. Russian Standard bought vodka.com years ago from two brothers that own thousands of domain names that they registered for free. No, don't just go to Google how much they paid for it is what I was trying to say. How much did they pay? Yeah, how much did vodka.com cost, right? It will blow your mind. And it was free because they understood they were early movers. And
the web domain.
Yeah, like
the
how
domain.
much did they pay?
Domain.
Yeah. How much did vodka.com sell for?
Domain.
But on that, what do you think is going to happen to ChatGPT while we're...
It'll be a paid service. I believe it's essential.
There you go.
How much?
$3 million.
Thank you.
For a free domain. And whiskey.com,
And that was back
they
in
own that
2007?
too. That was back in 2007.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, back then, for sure.
But
For a
so for
free
me,
domain that you were just smart
we
enough
talk
to
all
think
the time about realtors leveraging, right? So whether you're leveraging a TC, a showing assistant, if you are not particularly skilled at writing listing descriptions, marketing plans, this is a tool that everyone needs to get familiar with.
But it's everything. So not even that. Like, all right, the agent that's not comfortable on video,
Yes.
right? And they're like, oh, if I have a script, but then they have to go write the script.
Yeah.
And they're not going to go do that part. So you can have it, and Brian and I, we share a cost. Actually, you pay for it. It's coming out of somewhere. Because
I share the kindness
Yes.
to allow you a login.
I think it's part of...
I've been stealing your Spectrum login
That's
for
true.
like 5
That
years.
is true. Just making it right.
It's definitely a fair trade then. But with Jasper, it was a paid-for service, and that's something writing scripts on there. Homeward DFW, Brian was able on the blogging side to help cut down the time invested to go write blog articles, and we're now getting traction organically because of those articles written that Brian was consistent
The thing,
on. It.
and I appreciate that, and it's true. And the thing with Jarvis, I'll continue to call it that.
You can't. That's copywritten.
Can
They got in
you?
trouble.
As I know, you don't know the story. So Jarvis had to change the name to Jasper because there's an Avengers guy named Jarvis.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not an Avengers guy. It's
He's a Marvel guy.
No, it's Jarvis is Iron Man's assistant.
Yes,
That's
this
not
is a
real.
Marvel guy.
It's an AI.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't
now
want
he
to
becomes-
don't get mad because he's already doing his thing. He's about to tell us his whole fucking backstory. What? Go ahead.
No, he
Yeah.
just becomes another character who's super awesome.
Later
As a
on,
regular
that's
show.
yes.
Yeah, but he starts out as a
Copyright.
computer.
His name's not Jarvis later on, though, is it?
No,
It's
no,
Jasper.
no. Yeah, it's Jasper.
Yeah. No, who is it later on?
Oh, he just becomes the freaking dude who Thanos rips the jewel out of his freaking
Yes.
head.
Yeah.
Is Chat
Fly around guy.
Is Chat GPT still learning organic? Okay, that's the difference. Jasper stopped scraping a long time ago, and so that's why you have that evolution. It's
Or is
crazy.
ChatGPT doing it? They're using this as a future loss leader, right? Because it's a Google product. Isn't it? I think it's Google.
It might
right?
be.
I thought it. Well, who knows? Right?
Yeah. So
I think what's
Now you're
important
talking about
is
the shadow
realtors
world.
This
and
is
tools.
and this is
I'm
where
going to be Nick today.
No,
and
and
really
this
bring
is
the
where
point
I'm at
back.
with Beth, and this is where I want to go. I think because Brian and I'll tie this into stuff that we're doing that's actionable. Like Brian and I had a webinar yesterday that was just based around lead generation. It was an hour-long webinar. We decided to start doing it weekly. We had about 20 to 25 people on consistently the whole time for an hour. Here is what I think what's relevant to the people listening. What ChatGPT does, of course, it doesn't write beautiful, pristine blog content that you could write if you were a creative writing major, right? Like you probably won't even be able to go back and touch it up to that point. What it does do is if you ask it simple things to do, like, hey, what are the top 6 reasons why someone might buy a house? And you have trouble articulating shit like that, like I do, right? Like I've been doing this for 10 years. I know why people buy and sell houses. And if you told me to write it down, it would take me 4 days to figure it out. I can ask this thing and be like, oh, those things are all awesome. Then I can look at number 1 and say, I have a story that relates to this because that's how my brain works. Now I can make that personable. I could go do video content based off number 1, and I may have never thought about number 1, even though it's the most obvious reason, right? And what it does is it takes some really basic things, makes it really easy for real estate agents to use it. And to Nick's point, if they want to get into the more of the content creation side, it's actually thousands of video ideas, just lists and lists of
Yeah.
things you could do
It
content on
frees up
to
that-
become the expert in your area.
Log jam mental block.
And
It
then
breaks
you can
that.
green screen what Chat GPT answered and then tell your story and
That
say,
part's
hey,
cool,
so
too.
this is what I wanted to put into it. This is the top reasons buyers are buying. I'm going to break it down while that's your green screen. So that's
Did you do
unbelievable
that?
content.
Dude, I actually have about 75 of really basic questions that I think Google. So I did the same thing Brian and I did when we started the Toggle podcast. We literally put best And then it said tacos in Dallas. We're doing taco videos.
Done.
I did literally I put top questions asked by, and it said home buyers. I hit that bitch and just started reading what the most basic questions were.
Yeah.
Have you
I
ever
said
seen our taco
ChatGPT.
videos?
I know, but
Oh, God,
I've
you
been to
won't.
Velvet Taco in Fort Worth.
They
would
told us
not-
we
they
could
would
not
not
shoot
let
a
us
video
shoot
there. Actually got told no. But I literally went that basic. I said, if Google is recommending this question to me, then it is what it's recommending to everybody, which means it's the most Googled thing there is.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go down this list and ask ChatGPT
So
to
now,
explain it to people.
Does SEO now take a much bigger role? Because when we ask ChatGPT, like we're using Alexa and Google, are they going to be pulling the top 5, the top this from So now does SEO take on a bigger role?
Not getting it from page 2.
Well, and it's going to get harder though. So it's going to get
Correct.
harder because it gets easier to.
There is no page 2. Your phone reads you back the answer. You don't
that's
even know
true.
what page
So
you're
I'm gonna
on.
tell you right now.
Ask ChatGPT.
This is a pivot for all the industries.
It's a pivot, and I believe that what we've talked about on the shows past is that the more video content that you're producing, maybe even using ChatGPT style scripting, allows you to still stay in the forefront. Because video from a search feature is it broken?
Do you have an account for it?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's gone.
Yes,
Next
because
topic.
everyone keeps crashing it.
By the way,
Yeah, I've gotten this.
ChatGPT is a
more than once.
Microsoft-backed company.
Okay.
So it's not Google.
Interesting.
That's why Google's
Thank
freaking
you.
out.
That's what they say. I just watched
But there'll be
Underworld for the first
iterations.
time last
Can
night.
I ask
I'm like
a-
25 years
can I
in
ask a
Underworld,
dumb
but
question?
those dudes were working together.
Can I ask a dumb question? Is in the world where we've been essentially spelling out words for the computers by putting them in security passcodes and selecting pictures and talking into our fucking phones and Alexas and stuff like this, is this really hard? To copy at this point? While I admit this is really awesome, I'm not mega surprised. And why doesn't Google have an answer for
They're
this?
about
They
to.
will.
Oh,
Relax.
they're-
Chill out. Relax.
Absolutely.
Trust me,
will.
they're over here figuring out. And
Yeah, it just seems like it's awesome, but it doesn't seem like it's that crazy
There-
that we have
Well,
this at
just
this point.
the idea that it's a Microsoft-backed company. Microsoft hasn't come up with anything original
Brian, what
in
book?
a while.
Brian,
Right.
what book was and it's like data's the new oil.
Oh my gosh! Is it you're thinking of what's it? Ball guy.
Yes,
A dream from West Texas.
With glasses.
I'll go. I have it at home, but I read
Small's
it.
the new big.
No,
Oh,
no.
that's
I'll
what
send you the book. It's,
Big is the new small.
Yes. That's not it. But they talk about Google. Google knows more about the darkness inside of you than anything else, right?
I don't
Because
doubt
most
that.
people Google,
Yeah.
is this supposed to look like this? I have
Yeah,
this.
I believe
And
this.
so-
They know
you know,
more about what
People
bothers
get worried
you.
about their corn searches
Yeah.
on Google. It's actually weird the stuff that they might know that's actually more applicable because you keep that stuff in the dark.
That
the
is-
stuff they just know about the things you're interested in and stuff
So
is
Google-
actually probably makes it way more easy for them
explore
to
that for a
direct
second.
There
and
are
target
realtors
you.
right
Nick-
now that are
all right.
watching that are like, wait, I'm just trying to
I don't
sell
even,
some deals.
honestly, I don't even care though.
in
That's Nick. You make a
2023.
very interesting point. Let's explore that for a bit.
We can be here all day.
A company.
There's no dinner
Smorgasbord.
tonight.
A company that was started in two dudes' garage knows actually more about the shit that bothers you about you than
Yes.
any of your closest friends.
Yeah.
This podcast started in some person's garage, and we
did.
know more about what bothers people than what's bothering them.
But think about it this way:
That is super interesting.
with Google, all Google has to do is really use that data and what they have. But all right, if we relate it back to real estate, Beth, and I appreciate that because I go geek out on this. This is the stuff I geek.
I'm
out on.
ambivalent about what we talk
Like,
about.
if there's anything if there's anything I geek out on, I want to know how these businesses pivot. They're
Correct.
like, is ChatGPT the new Google? No, because Google has owned the data for so long. All they have to do is turn it on, and they go offer their product for free as well. And people want to stay on Google. They're not going to go Google shit on ChatGPT. That just doesn't make any sense. But from a lead generation perspective, all right, you want to learn about investments really fast. Okay, let's turn it into PadSplit. You want to go learn about PadSplit or talking about ROI and what a cap rate is or what's the cash on cash return. Go put that in ChatGPT. You do this enough.
I bet ChatGPT
I
knows your
want to do
username.
that. I wanna do
Google
that.
knows it.
I love you for always reining it in, and Nick Good always
I
being
would.
the voice of
He's
reason.
totally. I would just tell you, he's like this. So I run all of our Google ads through the Google Ads platform. So I was a nerd a few years ago and got Google certified. I've taken pretty much every one of their online courses. That's not even to say I'm impressive. That just means I can sit in front of a computer for a long time. They'll even even from an advertising perspective, there's all the videos. The really nice lady is like, in this video, we're going to show you how to take someone's soul and put it into a remarketing audience. Like, it's fucking crazy deep, dude. And that's the shit that's like, you can publicly pay for. Like, what they're doing on their own end is some shit you can't even fathom.
Do you think the government's involved?
Oh my gosh. Do you think the guy...
Listen, I just want you, realtors, I'm so sorry.
You know who's
This
the
is why
second
we call
largest
this a
lobbyist in the United
smorgasbord.
States?
Oh,
NAR.
okay.
Bring it back to real estate.
But do you remember when we kept saying a few years ago, like, if you're not using video, you're done?
Yes.
So I hope everyone has caught up.
I
by
have
now.
I have Facebook Live videos from 5 years ago when I decided to do the side part situation that didn't work for me at all, but popped up the other day, and I was super surprised that I was doing live videos 5 years ago.
And that your hair looked that way.
No, I'm not surprised about that. I was trying some stuff, but the thing that I think is crazy is exactly what Beth is talking about. These are like. How long do you have to be told something is still an opportunity to jump on before you actually give it a try? I am still telling you, real estate agents don't use video at near a big enough clip, and I've been saying that for 5 or 6 years. You still have an opportunity to make a real impact just through finding something to do where people can see your face and hear your voice.
And Beth, you'll appreciate this. I know you wanted to say something, so hold on. And so it's the same thing that we just talked about off air. If you're not good at video now, you're probably not going to try to go put yourself out there live, right? Kelderman does a really good job at Facebook Live. Really good job.
Even if it's not going to be live, there's just like, you could just,
Yeah, and you're willing to just pop up and just say how vulnerable you're feeling. You're willing to cry on there. You're just willing to share all the emotions, every emotion
Big old
you've got going
tears.
on. Not many people are willing to do that.
Yeah.
Or they shoot and record themselves and they're like, I sound like shit, and they redo it.
That's what I used to do.
Then they never post it, right? Then there's that type of person. Or you've got the ones that just one and done, and they don't make it consistent, and they're like, oh, I didn't see any reward from it. But if you were to make it to where, all right, let's try to get on someone's podcast, then it's a video. You make sure it's a video style podcast. They're asking you questions. I guarantee you that you can at least answer interview style questions because you're going on listening to buyer appointments all day long. So then take that content the way Beth did from last one episode. What is that? Episode 168, 169.
I'm just loving.
68.
I'm loving Jesse's ongoing battle to try to figure
I know,
out
he's-
his log.
Jesse's just. I don't even know if the camera's
This
moving.
has been going
at
on
this
off
point.
camera for
I
like
don't even-
20
I believe
minutes
what
now.
Nick was about to say is that I don't even know. I do excel on Instagram, Facebook, but on TikTok
That's
don't.
a bragging statement.
No, but on TikTok, you guys all know I don't really know what I'm doing. But I threw up one of the videos from our podcast last episode. I was here, and it has 34,000 views. And so
And the comments are like,
fire.
Yeah.
yeah.
I've
pe-
been on
like
TikTok
business,
though
yeah.
briefly.
But let
I
me
don't
say
think it's that
this.
you don't know what you're doing. I think it's that you're not willing to do it. Because when I open up TikTok,
Don't expose
I
yourself.
think they know my demographic. I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm not into it, guys.
I know I'm a 35-year-old
It's
man.
the decay of our society, and I'm not into it.
No, there's a lot of there's actual content, like there's a whole therapy side of TikTok that'll just like,
Oh, there's a good side.
well, I don't know if I call it good side. It's
it's
people
not.
it's people talking about things.
yeah,
But
it's not good.
here's what you can
Glad
do.
I stay off.
Here's what you can do with it, right? It's another place to park your content, to increase potential SEO, to increase potential exposure with the stuff you're already doing. And I know we probably don't mean this to be a video thing, but Beth and I do a lot of this. You have a ton of it going out, right? Like you do a ton of content too. Like this stuff does work. Like you just having any kind of consistency with just your thoughts or just small things around real estate that seem basic, which ties it back to the Chat GPT. How can I take a 6 bullet point, very basic ass like blog that this thing wrote for me and turn it into 6 pieces of content? It's okay. What are the top 6 reasons people move? Location. Okay, that's super obvious. Let me talk about what DFW looks like from a relocation standpoint and how many referrals I see every year because that's a huge part of my business. That's a whole thing that changes that conversation. That's just a basic blog post. And I think that's what a lot of real estate agents get stuck with is they still to this day don't know what to talk about. It's really that freaking simple.
Well, I'll say this. If you're a realtor out there and you're not doing video, here's 2 things. Number 1, social proof. So having videos, and this is why you should start putting yourself out there even when you're in your early career, because people will scroll down and they're like, oh, this person's been doing this for a while. So social proof. And number 2 is that video acts as an employee. So you get to leverage your time. You guys know you take a buyer through a buyer consult. You tell them all the steps from the EMD, the inspection, the appraisal. So if you filmed 10 segments of videos that were 1 to 2 minutes each. On the part with your EMD or your lender, you and your lender film a video. You now launched your YouTube channel. So now your clients are subscribed to your YouTube channel. And at 1 a.m, when a first-time buyer is panicking and they're at step 4 in the buyer process, you have a video for that.
I have never thought about it that way. And
You're
thank
welcome.
you. They know that I like to stick to simple rules and everything. Every video you shoot is a clone of a conversation you no longer need to have.
It's an employee. Wow. So
That's a good.
So even if you are scared about video and content, if you just look at it from a standpoint of social proof that you've been doing this for a while, and then video as an employee, it will be a catalyst for your business for 2023.
What does it look like when you're not putting on social media? So you do, when you were building out your pad split business, right? So you didn't get you didn't just do 23 million overnight in 1 year, right? So it took some time to build up that momentum, correct?
Overnight in 1 year.
Yes. And so you were very consistent with with your schedule and what you were doing. And so from that, you did just the Tip Tuesday videos to your investors.
Yeah, that was for my realtors.
For your realtors.
That was realtor training.
A realtor
Always.
training, right? Then your video that you would send out to your investor database, what was that?
That's an email. So I have a very exclusive. So let's talk about this. Again, realtors. So I have, people talk about your email list and your database and what are you sending them. So I have a very exclusive weekly email that you can only get on the list if you're one of my past investors or you're currently qualified and you're we're writing offers. So there's so much exclusivity that since I've been doing this, I've never had one investor want to be removed from the list. That's why.
No one subscribes?
No one. And it's a curated list. So this is something that I have to actually put a lot of time and energy into. It's curated and I always provide value. So besides the fact that I'm sending them my hot STR, LTR, pad split picks from the MLS, I'm writing content, my thoughts, and then value. Like for example, on Airbnb, right now what's trending is to get rid of your cleaning fees and up your nightly rate. And this is trending and people are happy to pay you more per night because they don't have hidden fees. So this is huge. So I'll put that value into my weekly email to my investors. This is why no one unsubscribes.
Is that working?
No one's ever unsubscribed.
No,
and
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 I
so
just wanted to segue to that because that spoke to me.
is
Is that working?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's on TikTok.
So,
it's on Google.
What if I split the difference? What if I do because I have a $180 cleaning fee. If
Think
I go
about
90 and I up by 100,
Nope.
then there's an arbitrage. I'll make more
That's
money.
like a seller only reducing their price by 10 or 15,000 in this market. That doesn't fly. You're either aggressive and you want to make something happen, or you don't.
All right, fair enough.
Correct.
But how many views am I losing because my nightly rate's $180 higher than the next guy?
But
who didn't
everyone
do
right
that?
now is tired of the hidden fees and of doing
So
800
their
tasks.
click through when they get to the reservation place and see that jump up, they're gonna come right back to me because at least I was honest and upfront.
People want less chores.
I have
less
2
hassle.
Airbnbs right
Try
next
it
to
out
each
and let
other.
me know, please.
I'll split test. That is an interesting thought
Thank
experiment.
you.
And so how many people are on your list right now?
It fluctuates because again, you're only getting on that list if you are a qualified person or a former in-person. So I would say on that weekly, on the STR one, I'd probably send it out to 50, maybe 70 people max.
Okay. And from that, so you run a very strict qualification. So if I'm an investor and I want to get on that list, what does that look like from an interview process with you?
Yeah, so it's qualifying. So if you're a realtor out there, even if you just work with buyers, I need you to understand your time is so valuable. And so there are a lot of people who will say you should show a house before they're qualified. And listen, there's a lot of methods, right? But for me personally, you're not getting on my calendar or on a Zoom with me until you are qualified. And if you tell me you're all cash, even with your proof of funds, I don't believe cash is the best strategy. So I do believe that a free session with my investment broker lender to determine your short and long-term goals is needed before I screen you.
And I think that's a great question to ask yourself as a real estate agent too. Like here's the thing about this. There are levels to this. And being able to say time is my commodity, meaning like look, I was an agent who wasn't even doing a deal a month and was chasing every deal, and I get what that grind looks like, right? I've even said on this show before, my last year was focused on something else. I had my third worst year in real estate last year from a straight units perspective, right? I don't worry about that, but I will tell you, if you're the type of agent who doesn't have their business exactly where you want it to be and you're not hearing exactly what they're saying, that's a huge part of what you can do. Like, if you're not willing to go out and I posted this yesterday, find that one pending to do what's ever necessary, you're going to struggle big time in what's coming next, dude.
I would definitely love to focus on that whole breakdown, because I thought that was so insightful.
It was just on a call, right? But and we can jump into it in a second. I want them to be able to finish what they were talking about. But like, I think we've gotten into this space with real estate where if you've only been licensed for 2 years, you've just known a different market, right? And we're running into a space right now where there's so many skills that are going to be necessary in implementing video and doing cool stuff and recognizing that conversations are going to change and the stuff that the actionable shit you have to do on a day-to-day basis is going to be completely different than it has been for the past 2 years.
And it's respecting your time as a business owner. So what happens if someone...
You just want to be efficient with your time now.
What happens, Beth, if someone who jumps on your calendar doesn't show up to their call or they're late?
So I understand that life happens, and so you do get an email from me kind of with the boundaries. You get to miss one, and if you do call me and tell me that you have to reschedule, that I will let go. But if an investor misses 2 scheduled Zooms with me, I will never work with them again. I don't care how much money they have, who they are. I will never give you the opportunity to work with me again.
Could you imagine those type of boundaries in your business, like for real?
Good boundaries to have in life.
But remember when you were a younger agent, and so you did
You'll
take
take
calls
anything.
at 11 o'clock at night. You did drive 2 hours. So I want you agents out there to know, like, we get it, but you do get to a point in your career. I do not take any call after 8 o'clock. I remember being a younger agent, and these better agents would say, nothing good happens like after 6 p.m. And I'd be like, you're crazy. You're missing deals. How could you not answer
You're
your
not
phone?
servicing your clients.
P.S. I don't ever have to touch my phone after 7:30, 8 o'clock. I don't really have to work weekends.
How did you get to that point, though? Because let's talk about that. Because I was talking to one of our new agents. How you got to that point was because you took texts at 11 p.m. and because you showed buyers without buyer reps more than one house. Like this is the thing about this show that I love, but we also act like we didn't used to do some shit sometimes,
But
right?
I
there
wanna
were
say I
times
used
where
buyer
I
reps
took
my whole career.
I didn't, and I don't want to advocate for that, but I didn't at all. And I would go show people houses. I didn't care, and I lost deals because of that. Right? People would just leave me and float off into nowhere because of whatever, and then maybe
It wasn't an exclusive relationship.
It wasn't an
Matt.
exclusive relationship.
They were
And
dating other people.
And look, that's not legal or smart, and I probably shouldn't say on the show, but my point is, like, in speaking to real estate agents, we don't value our time nearly enough at the beginning, and there's also probably a point in all of our careers where we would do whatever to get it going. So if that is what you're doing right now, do that, but also do it with a freaking purpose. Don't just do it because you're chasing every deal every month.
You have to chase deals in the beginning. And you guys saw me on social media on Monday. I had a tough beat in real estate, and I had a bunch of
trifecta.
deals fall apart. And I was smiling about it because you do get to this point in your career where money's fine and deal flow is fine, and you don't lose the clients. Like, it's just more man hours for me. But when you're a younger agent, and we talked about this earlier today, you might only have that one deal. So what we want to say is, number one, don't ever count your commission until the closing table has been done and signed. You have to budget appropriately. I was a young realtor, and I didn't budget for taxes when I was like a younger realtor. And so, you get in trouble because you need that money.
It's like most younger realtors,
Yes.
by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that ever goes away. I think eventually there's some people that get smart, and I think there's some people that just, it's like a pyramid
Keep
scheme.
kicking that can down the road.
I think they just keep pushing the payment plan.
That's next April's
You got
my
to start
problem.
the LLC.
Yeah.
You got to have the S corp. You got to have a good accountant. You have to be fiscally and financially responsible. Especially, like we talked about this a lot today. Nick had a blast off event yesterday with his team, and I got to hang out with one of his team members last night. Shout out to Elizabeth Austin. And she's super dialed into her goals and where her units came from. And so if you're a new realtor and you only did 2 or 3 deals last year, where they came from is paramount, because you need to understand how much time then you need to dedicate to that lead source and how to move forward to double those numbers.
Well, it's like what we talked about at lunch is Like if you're an established agent, and Brian and I talk about this, right? As leaders of the organization, is you have your established agents who their book of their business is coming from maybe 2 to 3 different sources, but they start to look over here and they're like, ooh, this looks better, and it's like, well, you don't think about when you were first starting, you were learning it. Well, you're going to have to go learn this over here while still trying to maintain your current book of business, and it's not going to happen. So what will happen is they're going to go and start flirting with this type of lead generation or this lead source. Then their current business starts to drop because they're not focused on it, and then they go into freak out mode because all of a sudden they don't have closings, their money's down, and they're on the way of leaving and exiting the business, and but you become the bad guy from the leadership side saying, don't go down this path because it's not necessarily the right one at this time. You slowly can learn it on the off hours. And the problem is a lot of agents don't want to go and learn things on the off hours because they've got other things to do.
Teenagers think their parents are dumb, dude. It is what it is, man. I wish it was more complicated than that. But I do want to, I want to dive into, you guys just started to get into this. Like, what do people need to be doing right now? But the two, this is, I like you guys all know, like I said before, I keep things simple. I try to base my ongoings on simple principles, right? If I'm doing something at a high level, I fundamentally believe you can accomplish anything that you want. And the way to do that without spreading yourself thin is if you cannot leverage yourself to at least do exactly what you're doing but get 85% of your time back, or find somebody who can do what you're doing at 85% the capacity that you could, then keep doing it because it's what you do well. Until then, continue to learn about what it is that you want to go spread yourself too thin with. But man, I'm going to tell you, there are a lot of people that have a lot of fucking ideas about stuff that should be happening they're doing that aren't doing any of them well, that they could be doing 1 or 2 really well, if they would stop trying to do everything all at once.
We're not allowed to curse anymore.
Oh, shit, I forgot about that.
So, shiny object syndrome. And so I think the message is that if we were to say to you, what is 1 or 2 things you could add to your business this year that would be a catalyst to launch you to that next step, what would those 1 or 2 things be? And then what is the time allotment we need to have? And so for me, it was like YouTube. I knew I was failing by not having that professionally done because it's something I didn't want to take the time to learn. If you can't learn the skill, you have to pay for it. If you can't afford it, you have to learn it.
So are you paying for it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a cost of leverage, right? So you're leveraging that out where like your not just the Tip Tuesdays just for your realtors, but is it the Thursday Zooms that you send out to your investors? What day is that? Wednesday. That one is you can't leverage that piece out because that from a lead generation or dollar per hour activity, that is one of your highest dollar per hour activities that you can send out to your investor list. Mm-hmm. It's probably one of your most time consuming ones.
You get faster at it.
Yeah,
you learn as you go,
yes.
right? So I used to divide it into price points. This was a big learning for me. So let's say you have buyers and you're sending out hot deals or a deal list. I used to divide it into price points. I don't know how I could be so dumb. One day I said, you know what? I wanted people to see the range of from 300,000 up to 2 million.
So I was going to ask how you come up with that deal list.
So, I'll tell you. So my higher priced buyers though, they would see the lower priced deals and my phone would ring and they'd be like, I want to scoop that.
I want that, yeah.
So that changed my life and then it consolidated my time. So how I come up with the list is, so I don't believe in, I know people are going to hate me, I don't believe in auto drips. I curate every email unless you're a buyer who's not yet ready and you're not going to be ready based on my lender for 3, 6, 9 months, then you're going to go on auto and be in my CRM system. But I believe in everything being curated, and my buyers and investors, they love my commentary on it and my thought.
Well, that's actual real valuable insight, right?
Yeah.
Even though you personally curate everything, you're going way deeper with your clients.
Well, and so then to give that tip about this cleaning trend on Airbnb that just tipped and it's on TikTok. To give that, when I know my investors, they're certainly not on TikTok.
But think of it as actually, I think there's a an opportunity here where everything and Matt and even Brian and I talk about this, where sometimes you can over automate your business to death, where you now lose that valuable relationship, and ultimately you don't put people on auto searches and auto campaigns unless they're not ready yet. But if you're taking the time to send this out to me, and you were able to it's a smaller, more intimate list. And there's more value behind it because you're looking at, all right, you're breaking down the concepts, you're breaking down what the potential ROI could be, right? Or what the rehab cost could be. I mean, as a traditional real estate agent, what you could be doing is, if we could make this in measurable, actionable items, why not just send out hot lists as well and saying, all right, you break everyone into cities. If you have someone looking in the Frisco area or Plano area, you combine them together and say, these are the foreclosure Fridays. This is
Can I actually
hot
tell you how
deal
effective
Wednesday.
this is that I am a fully licensed real estate professional, have been for almost 13 years.
I hope so.
And I have I actually don't even know his name. I signed up on his list somewhere. I think he's a wholesaler that's also licensed. He sends me a hot list every week. Every week I'm like, I wonder what shit's in there. Let me check that out.
People
Yeah.
can't
He has
stop.
100% open rate from me, who could at any point
Yep.
go look at these properties on my own. So that's
But
actually
you
a
don't.
very good actionable tip.
Because it's quick reading, and so
I just like clicking the button and seeing what's up.
I want people to feel like they can't transact without my advice.
So I'm thinking with Kelderman, Kelderman could do this. I mean, anybody could actually do it. It's just going in, use Loom. Loom's free, by the way.
5-minute videos are free, and it's a really attractive interface.
I paid. It's like $9 a month or something.
Have you ever done a
Super cheap.
Loom video and you're trying to get into that 5-minute limit and you start talking super fast?
For sure.
Or you go, you're like, all right,
It's
I
like
went
when you're
over.
writing the poster with the bubble letters and they
Yes.
keep getting smaller.
Or you have to delete it, and you're like, man, I have to start all over again. Yeah.
I was money in the middle of that thing.
Yeah. Can I just chop up that part and then splice it all in? I mean,
Just ask Jesse to edit it.
yes. But anybody could start incorporating that. And you could do those daily. You could just make it something, it could be, what would be a Wednesday one.
well, so I just
for our
believe
show,
it's really price point specific when you're
Yeah.
working with buyers, right?
$1 Million Monday. There we go.
Perfect. Because it really is. There's price breaks depending
Financial
on your
Distress
market
Friday.
Yes.
that are super specific.
There
and
we
so
go.
And here's it's not just price breaks. It's like, and this may be what you're saying. There's actually price chunks where people typically search, right?
Correct.
As you get into higher price points, those $25,000 increments become $50,000 increments, become $100,000 increments, right? So being able to figure out where that changes, right? Do people look for houses between 200 and 350? No, they don't. Right, like those are completely separate types of houses. You maybe look for investment.
250, 300,
Yes,
300,
what I'm saying is you may have that criteria
400,
set up.
500, 500, 600, 750, a million.
Dang, we're going to have to
Oh no! If you go
Correct.
750 to $1 million, that's
Can we
pretty
touch on
impressive.
something really quickly for realtors? So I want to talk about pricing basics. When you're pricing things on a 9, you're losing your life. Pricing on 0s and 5s. So if you price a house at $399 and someone's starting their search at $400,
let's start the great
you're
debate.
just
No, I want to hear your thoughts.
Are we
I
gonna
agree with
fight?
you so much.
Are we
I
going
know,
to
Brian.
fight?
He's going to
Yes,
fight.
Have you ever
I
taken
agree
a
with
pricing
you.
No, I agree with her. I
strategy
disagree with him.
certification?
No,
I disagree with
highly
you.
disagree. First off,
no.
it's
You're wrong.
it's psychology.
No.
This is not Walmart. We're not rolling it back.
Get him.
There's no smiley face stickers around here.
First off, it's a psychological deal on this, and so ultimately,
Psychological for who?
So
All the people that didn't see it because
This is
it wasn't
about the
at
search
zero?
parameters on Zillow, what the humans do, what the realtors do. So when you price on a 9.9 and I started my search above that, you are missing out.
Because you're not getting the same eyeballs.
You're also telling me right now that someone who started their search at 400 doesn't go down to 3.
Now here's where you guys are having different conversations. Here's where you guys are having different
that's what I'm
conversations. I'm gonna
saying.
help you out. I'm not going to initially price on a 9. I am not going to initially price on a 9. But let's say I have been at 340 for some reason. I start at 350, then I'm going to come down 10. I'm going to try to maneuver that price reduction towards a direction that's ultimately going to allow me to go to 299 if I had to go that far. Now, if you're 350 to 299, you would fucked up big time. But my point being is to use those large increments. You guys are talking about the same thing. I'm going to start on one of those $25,000 increments. But if I have to move to a price point later, let's say this
That
is better.
might be the
if
most
I'm 325
level-headed thing you've ever said.
If I'm 325, I'm going to be okay with the 315 price reduction, because if that doesn't get us, the next thing I'm coming to ask you is for 299,999.
Yes, I actually
because now I
100%
want
agree with that.
completely under a other tax bracket. Now, if I think the house should be priced at 300,000, am I initially going to price it at 299,999? No, I think that's stupid.
I
Right?
agree with you.
I
But
just
I
want because
would actually say if you're in the middle of a bracket,
Yeah.
then go your route. If you're on a bracket, then go our route.
Look,
that's actually
I
a
believe
really
I've been
good
doing
point.
it. I've been doing this almost like I'm going to pull the
We've
old
all
man
been
card.
doing
I've been
this.
doing
He just
this
said,
"I've been
almost
doing this."
20 years.
You just have to show me where it mattered, where the contracts came in. I know you don't track data that
My
way.
But
eyes
I'm gonna
just
t-
rolled so
But
far.
I'm going
I
to tell
saw
you right
my
now,
brain.
but my list to sales price ratio is really high.
And
so
I
mine.
think the
Yes.
Good Home Team prices. I think you guys are machines at
Yes.
pricing
Machines.
properties.
And
I will not
here's
deny
what I'm
that.
going to tell you. I understand from a search algorithm. I understand what you're saying, but people are not algorithms. People who are like, "Oh, my budget is
If you
400."
read
That's my argument to
Homo
you.
Deus by
That's
Yuval
my- no,
Noah
no.
Harari, you'll find that people are algorithms.
No, I can actually know whether they are or they're not. You just have never had a buyer come to you and say their price point is $250,000 to $299,999. That's how I can prove it's wrong. Nobody has ever said that to you, so why even price it there?
So the message for
from
realtors,
from a psychological point, it's the same reason why go to the gas station. It's $1. It's $2.99.
That's to make the taxes work. That's to make
Okay,
the
but
But
taxes.
it's
So-
also, but people will drive if it's
it's
301
been
over here.
$247
People will go
before.
to 299,999 over here. So
You know how I determine the gas? Which one's on the side of the fucking road I'm driving on? I don't
That's
care about the
true.
price, bro.
You're correct,
I'm
actually.
hanging a right at the nearest gas
But there's-
station that allows me
there's
to
a
get
lot
back
of
on my
people
route
that are
first.
Let's bring
like
it back to realtors, because listen, if you're a solo agent and so you don't have the support of having a team lead to teach you some of these things, talking about the price breaks is a very interesting thing that you have to learn, because price. So for a realtor, when you're searching for buyers, you should know better. You should be searching a much wider range, especially in this market when there's a lot of room. But when
Well, if you've
you're-
ever experienced the thing where they give you criteria and then they go and find some shit on their own that's outside the criteria, it's
always
you've
like
already right. You
That's your
should-
skill.
you should
That's your skill. That's
take
bringing
that
it back
as
in.
an initial
I did it
subset
today.
and then broaden it.
I did
right?
it today. She sent me a house $30,000 over price point.
You're like-
And I said, "Are you really going to buy this?" She said, "Nope. Thank you for pointing that to my attention. Save myself having to drive out tonight, show her one house," because she specifically said, "I'm not buying a house at this price point." She's like, "I really like it." I said, "Do you like it as much as you said you didn't like it last week?" And she said, "Nope." And now we're not going out. And you know what a lot of agents would do who are not in control of their client?
drive
They
out
would
with
hop in their freaking car, go show her a house, and then she would ask you 3 days on market to ask them for a freaking 15% price reduction. That ain't happening, and we all know it.
but you could get 7% because that's the average right now.
Not
Or
3
if-
days on market.
if you read the realtor remarks, though,
If
and
you're
you'll
telling me you
see-
got 3 days on market, 7% off list price across the board,
But
I will
if
hand you
you
$5.
scroll down to read the realtor remarks, and then the listing agent says, "Oh, we're offering a 2-1 buy down, or we're offering a $5,000 credit." So half the realtors don't even
If
scroll
you're not,
down
if
to
you're
read
not,
the remarks
if
to
you're
know
not
that there's
skilled,
wiggle room.
if you're not skilled enough to understand the first part of what I said, you sure as shit ain't getting 2-1 buy downs.
They're not getting 2-1.
You know what I mean? If you're just hopping in a car with a buyer who told you their criteria, it's a firm no, and then you still go show them some of their price point without at least pointing it out to them, you haven't even ventured into 2-1 buy downs because you are chasing every dollar.
Wait, people hop in cars with their clients. It's 2020.
Do you still drive people in your car?
No, I've done that
barely
2
let
times.
family members in my
One
car.
time, but I was telling the story about my largest deal ever. But I did the first time she ever came to town. She rode in the car with me, and I went and bought Fiji water, and I put it in the backseat like a fucking Uber. It was awesome.
I will tell you, Brian rode back to me with me from lunch, and it's a weird feeling when people just ride.
You don't like it. I don't
I
like it.
don't like it either.
You know how I get out of that? It's actually an insurance issue, and
It
I don't have
is.
business insurance on my car. So if we got in a wreck, I wouldn't be able to cover you. So I'm gonna need you to follow me.
I was like, you know why we didn't like it together? Because we always feel this tension of shit we need to be doing. When I got to the office, you walked in. I was on a call. I was supposed to be on that call at the same time that you were in the car, but you were on a call, and I couldn't get on my call until you were done with your
You
call.
could have. I didn't mind on mute.
That's fair. But I was talking to you, and we never get enough time
Yeah,
together.
you can't say that.
We
The
just-
worst
I
is
don't
when
know.
your clients are following you and you're the buyer agent, and then you like blow through a light and
Yes,
they get caught in the
dude.
red.
okay.
You are trying to time
That's
that
the-
thing.
Well, I'm going to tell you, that's the most stressful thing too. Like,
So stressful.
I'm
This-
like,
this
you're
is a-
looking in the rear view mirror, like, are they there? Are they there? Am I going too
pull into
fast?
the
too
gas
slow?
station
Are
up
they
there.
judging me because I didn't use my blinker because I changed lanes?
So I've got 2 solutions to this. One, I'm the son of a truck driver, so I'm just really good on the roads, and I feel like I can let people follow me well. Secondly, tell them specifically, hey, the next address is in the calendar invite I sent you. Put in your GPS in case we get separated at a stoplight. I will meet you there. Then guess
That
what
is-
this allows
okay.
you to do? You know how many times I've intentionally gotten ahead of somebody and stopped at McDonald's or like ran into a gas station real quick to take a leak?
blowing through stop signs.
I will. I'll just
so I
like
can get
just
a double cheeser.
dust them so I can just go grab a high C orange and then meet them at the house real quick. And they're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "My GPS took me to the right." I don't know.
We're gonna get right back on track, I promise you. But Jesse can attest to this, and he can even speak into his Yeti mic. I love when Kelderman tries to justify his insanely aggressive driving style. It is so scary, and he uses like I'm like a son of a truck driver, so it's cool if I play chicken with this lady on the way to Arkansas at 95 miles an hour for no fucking reason
Because the son
whatsoever.
of a truck driver
The
makes
girl
you
in
a
the
better
Jeep.
driver.
Everybody in the back seat is white knuckling their armrest. They're so scared.
I'm the greatest driver you've ever been in
He's
a car
trying
with.
to prove something to somebody we'll never meet in real life. And but my dad was a truck driver, so it's
Jesse was
basically-
right. Jesse was riding shotgun and cheer me on, and ladies legitimately doing contracts in the back seat. Only one person was squealing.
There was only one.
Smartest person in the car.
said you were the only one.
Yes, I was the only one with the confidence to be like, "Hey, man, maybe this doesn't mean anything. Maybe we're just trying to get to where we're going." We were driving so fast.
We drove fast, and I beat her.
This is it's like weaving in and out of traffic in his fucking extended Escalade, which is not designed for that at all. I was surprised it could even go that fast. It was
stuck to the road,
ridiculous.
dude. Escalade's high performance SUVs, baby.
That was a smooth
Nothing
ride
worse
too.
Than that, but when you can't unlock a lockbox in front of your client.
That is mad frustrating.
Piece of advice is that before you kick down the door or hop over a fence, let your client try. I actually do find, obviously if it's a Supra or a Sentry, it's different, but if you can't get the key, like you can't turn the bolts.
Yes.
Sometimes if you step back as a realtor and just look at your client and
Just
say,
be
you
like,
know what,
this is-
I'm going to blow on it for good luck. You give it a try.
It's all about 8%. Okay, okay. I want
Do you
yours,
remember
but-
the old school lock? I don't know if
Yeah.
You have
like
to carry the lid.
no, well that one too, but it was the
the
locker
locker combo?
combination.
Yes.
And I'm like I could never. I would
get
show
it.
up
Oh,
30
I know
minutes
exactly
early
what
to
you're
a
talking about.
showing just to because if they
How
said
about-
I'm like it's one of
Isn't
those
it
locker
crazy you could do that multiple times a day in high school, and then all of a sudden
see
it
that.
happens in your adult
That's
life,
'cause
and you're
that
like,
was your
algebra!
lock. That was your lock. That's
I'm
the
like,
difference.
am I going the right way? Am I turning it back?
How about
Just
this
go
one?
past the
Do y'all
numbers.
remember this? This is for the kiddos at home that don't know this. Remember when your Supra would not be updated, but you actually had to bring it to the office to
yes.
update, and you didn't realize that, and you went to your first showing for a client, and it wasn't updated, and you're like, I'm so sorry.
No,
What if your first
We will be
showing
able to-
was an income property in a very dangerous
remember that?
location and you're by yourself? And I'm not talking about when you have to go to the office. I'm still talking about right now, today, Supra, Bluetooth. And there was a glitch, and I was in a not so desirable neighborhood, and I had to abandon it because I knew I could not sit there while I was waiting on hold with Supra. I did go on Instagram and
Did you on that? Is your key card on your phone now?
so it's always so in Maryland we had Sentry, which was like a
Yeah,
card,
what is,
but in,
what is Florida
we had-
in 2016? Of course it's on her
so
phone.
it's, yeah, we had
Look,
Super.
I'm
It's
going to
always
tell you
on
right
your
now.
phone.
I had, and they just retired it. They won't let me have it anymore. I just last
yeah,
year.
they just retired those.
I last year had to get the app on the iPhone because I used
No, I used to use the brick.
the black key card.
I used the gray brick.
Oh, I hated that one. The black one had a battery that would last for years.
We're like arguing over Supras
And-
that don't even exist
Yeah,
anymore.
and that one for whatever reason you didn't have to update it as often because I was the
Yeah,
I was
the
king
brick
of,
you had to update literally every time.
Do you guys have
used it. It was
CBS codes? Like, you,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
so listen. Number one, realtor to realtor. Are you
That's how
joking
staff
me?
gets
This
in.
girl in Tampa, though, I just wanted to call her and say thanks. Her CBS code was 8675309.
Hell yeah, girl. Nicely done.
Really?
I like
Yeah.
that.
That's cool.
So I called her. I was like, "Thank you." But P.S. Like, your listing is safe. It's on a Supra. Like,
Yeah.
you're killing us with some of these hard things for like realtor to realtor. Put the notes in the remarks. Like, let's help each other get your listing sold. Work with our buyers.
You guys do investment properties. I did a live video about this the other day. Have you ever set off one of those death barrels that's in some of those
I
vacant
literally
houses?
Googled that to even
What is
see.
that?
I've seen it like
Bro,
one other
I
time.
have set them
I
off
couldn't
twice.
remember.
It's
It
these
might have been your
blue-
other video.
Yes, it's this blue barrel that's in the middle of vacant houses that are usually in sketchy areas where you're like your AC gets stolen. You got to put a cage around it, type of shit.
Yeah.
And so it's a blue barrel. I'm telling you, it has a pole at the top and then a siren on top. When you just bloop it to turn it off, it's horrifying. I know why they work. You have to leave the house.
I've never seen
It
that.
is.
I don't even know what he's
It's
talking
like
about.
I'm telling you right now, sound torture is a thing,
Yeah.
and I know it is. If you just put somebody in the death barrel in the room with one of those barrels, you would hate it so much. I did a live video a couple of
Plug-in
days.
cameras, like
It's-
we've upgraded.
I don't
Dude.
even know what it.
No, it's
exactly
legitimately.
does, though.
I'm telling you, the 2 times I've seen it has been in areas where the cops are not going to come super quick,
Yeah.
and I think it is designed to alert everybody in a 1 mile radius that shit has went down.
I don't think they're called
It is-
death barrels.
Bro,
I think it's probably
I don't know. Blue vacant house. I
don't like what you just Googled. That didn't work.
Put vacant house blue alarm barrel.
Yeah.
Right. But it was so loud, and I don't know how the hell we just got off on this. We were
And,
just talking
well,
about
but I
something.
will say this. Now we're talking about cameras and videos and things.
Yeah.
Realtors, please remember there are state rules. When you have cameras in a house, if you cannot audio without like written approval, if you have cameras, you need to put that in the listing.
Did you see that autopilot?
I did. That's
Oh,
it right
this
there.
is what this is. I just want to say, like, you're making buyers and their agents uncomfortable when you have cameras pointing on them, and it is it's
Yeah, and
uncomfortable.
you definitely have to disclose that.
Buyers agents need to be able to talk with their clients in a house. And
I'm gonna tell you, like the sellers that even want to do that stuff, I don't like y'all. I don't want to hang out with y'all. It's weird. Just let them leave feedback.
I will tell you right now, I just always assume we're being recorded if they don't tell me, so I don't tell them. I say, we don't talk about this until we get in the car
Yeah.
or we're at the next property.
No, I get that.
And advising your sellers, like,
Yeah.
listen, seller, the only time a seller ever should be home for a showing is if they're elderly or sick, like they cannot leave the home. But if you don't guide your sellers to get out,
Yeah.
you're making our job so much harder.
No, that's even worse. Like when they're in the house, it's have you walked in and they're like they just got or they're in bed. Like Brian and I we walked a property down in Waco, and the broker that let us in is like, oh, this one's vacant, and I'm trying this door that's locked. I'm like, why is the door locked? And there was a chick in there.
Yeah.
Like we're like, and it's
This
just
is like 2 in the afternoon too.
2 PM. It's awkward. Even we're looking at it from an investment purpose, and we're just like being quiet and even tiptoeing around, even though we know that feeling,
Yeah.
and we're used to it. But it just even for our standards, like if you're a client that's looking through a house, they're not buying that house.
It is mad fun though, and this is a slight detour because you work on the investment side as well. Because that same trip, we found like a really cool thing. What's like the coolest thing you've ever found inside of an investment property? We found a guy who had collected all of the Hot Wheels, and all of them were all of them were wrapped and preserved. But it was probably, Nick, it was like 1,500 individual Hot Wheels cars.
Yes,
It was
cool.
amazing.
It was cool.
It was like all of the Hot Wheels that had ever been created.
The
And he had
coolest
collected
thing-
all of them. And this was like student housing. It was like, this guy's clearly not going to class. He can't afford his tuition, but he's blowing all his money on Hot Wheels. He's got all of them.
Hot Wheels are so cool. Like my older brother had.
But
a
he
Hot
had
Wheels.
he had no tracks.
I will. Oh,
It was
No,
just the
they
cars.
came in like that lunchbox.
Yeah,
like
he
you'd
didn't.
open
He
it.
didn't even
No.
unwrap the cars.
No, because he
Thank God they're worth
he
more.
displayed them on the wall.
it was nuts.
Yeah.
Coolest thing I ever found. So I got my career started as an REO agent in foreclosures. The coolest thing we ever found was all of these letters from a son during the war, and he was writing to his mother about Bob Hope coming to sing for the troops. He was like Nam.
Yeah.
And-
The ISO. What's it called? The
USO.
USO.
And
ISO.
so
USO.
the letters were so beautiful that I represented the bank, and I called them and I said, we have to track down this family. We have to get these letters to someone. But they were so moving and beautiful. That's definitely one of the coolest
You must have
things
been a
I've
new
ever found.
REO agent when you actually cared, because those REO agents
Yes,
later
sir.
on did
Well,
not care about anything.
That's a good story. On the selfish side, I got some Jordans from Matt one time.
Yeah, we just
So that
we-
was tight.
These people. That was a house that Arthur and
Yeah, you guys bought that.
You
Did we
guys
buy
bought
that house?
that. You guys
Yeah.
bought that house.
Did we
It was-
make money on that one?
Oh yeah, because that house was $60,000 less than what she paid for it. Because it was just this lady who was in a terrible situation. Guy came in and kind of did. She let somebody into her life who destroyed the house. Started spending all of her money. We went in there. She was like, literally, just sell the house. I was like, we have to have it trashed out. What do you want us to do? She's like, throw away everything. I'm never coming back. It had like 6 inches of water in it at one point, right? Like it was just a mess. But we go upstairs, dude, and I actually just had them cleaned. We found like 2 pairs of Yeezys, like a Supreme money gun, a whole bunch of podcast equipment, like this $500 pair of Jordans. And I legit called her and I was like, there's like a ton of like men's like size 10, 11 shoes up here. She's like, no, that's all this dude. She's like, I don't want anything to do with that. I was like, okay. And so Brian and I were like, I'm going to take that shit and take that shit. Like, and it was just shoes. It wasn't anything crazy, but I was
Did
like.
Arthur take something?
No, I think so. Like, there was like a Supreme flag. Like, this guy
some
was just
dumb stuff
This
that's
guy
really
was just an
funny.
A+ dickwad who was just spending her money on the most frivolous crap that he saw on YouTube. It was absolute insanity. But I will say, you were talking about the VA. I had an opportunity that started out as kind of bizarre that turned into like a really cool connection. I'd sold a house in Texas for a buddy whose aunt, and it lives in Iowa, and he was my best friend growing up, right? And his aunt happened to live down here, and her husband had died, and he was a veteran. Well, he was really into Looney Tunes and like the Tasmanian Devil specifically. So when we sold the house, there was a lot of stuff she wanted to get rid of. Well, he had been cremated, and she had done everything she wanted to do with all the ashes. He had been distributed where she wanted him to be, and she had the boats. But there was still a lot of ashes left in this Tasmanian Devil urn. And so I didn't know what to do, and I'm not like you guys. I don't work REOs a lot, so I don't run across things that have to be thrown away or distributed that they're not old dressers and mattresses you have no problem chucking. And I'm like, I all of a sudden had this incredibly bizarre experience of being like, I can't throw this guy away. Like, I don't know what to do, but I know she said it was fine. She was like, do whatever, but I can't do this. So we ended up, for the longest time, we tried to find someone with the VA, whatever, and the family ended up taking him, which worked out fine. But I went through a lot of ends to figure out what to do with this gentleman and his ashes, because I was so, even though the family was like, no, we're good, it's fine. I was like, I just can't take this Tasmanian Devil full of urn. Full of herb and just get rid of it,
That's
right?
a person. I don't want to do
Karma,
that. I
right?
agree. He has a lot.
I felt like my mom when she just couldn't throw away drawings that I made when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
She was like, I had to keep it. It's a part of you. I was like, no,
Deborah,
it's not.
throw them away.
Yeah. I was 6 and couldn't color in the lines. So
What's the deepest? Because we're all more educated and experienced now, but back in the day, what's the deepest you've ever got in with a client or potential client where they kind of took you for a ride?
I'm going to tell you right now.
Nick's
Austin
never
jumped
been
my ass
taken.
on this one.
Oh no,
I loaned this dude money
I did.
to rehab his house. And it was this dude that lived in California, and we set the terms on it, and we did the rehab for him too, and he was adamant on overpricing the house. And this was during the time when it was in Flower Mound. It took forever for stuff to sell. And I think it was like $30,000. And it got to the point where I had to threaten him to let him know, I will take every actionable, maybe even physical. I'll fly out there. You're going to start lowering the price to what I want it to be, because now I have money tied up in this. And so, we got our money back. We sold the property, but from a stress level and from a point, because that was his primary residence. Even though he lived in California, he still somehow held that as his homestead. So if he filed anything, he could tie that up. My attorneys were like, "You're an idiot for doing that," because I thought it was I'm onto something. We
Can I ask a
could
question?
start.
How much did you loan him?
$30,000.
Yeah.
Because I was like, we could start this as a business where we go into people's houses like a Curbio
This
style.
is Chip and JoJo, bro.
Yeah, before Curbio, we was like, we could come in and do a little bit of a gateway loan and say, all right, we'll give you $15,000-$20,000. Interest starts accruing after a certain time. If you don't sell it, then you owe us X percent
It's like a
back.
love it or list
I wonder
it
what the love it or
situation.
list it contract
That's what I
looks
was
like.
gonna say.
I
It's
wonder
like
what
that,
that thing
right?
looks
It's
like.
gotta
You know
be
it's
that.
leaned way hard.
Yeah, and so I was like, man, because I told my brother, I was like, dude, think of how many more listings we could take, and we could make some extra money just by doing some loans here. And then after that first one, I was like, I ejected from that. I was like, this is too
That was
stressful.
Nick's official last aggressive move in his investment strategy.
From that one, that was not, because I was like, we're already running these listings, and the ones that need work, they need a little
Yeah.
TLC, and they're adamant on higher prices.
Sure.
And so we could set this as a certain listing commission, plus we get a GC fee, plus we
Yeah.
get the interest on it.
I
was
mean,
like,
dude, the bones of it kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Like Kirby, it makes sense, but where you made the error was that you always had to know what it would have logically sold for and set it there.
Well, I knew what it would sell for. The problem is what I didn't set the pace is you would have to agree to this list price, and if it doesn't sell within certain time frames, you have to agree to price reductions.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want to agree to those terms, then you set up something in escrow to pay me back.
So Brian, you asked the question, so I feel like you have to have a story.
Here's the thing. Mine's more.
Brian was the seller.
Mine's
That I
not.
loaned
I didn't
money
have as much money tied up. Mine is more embarrassing, just maybe from a logistical standpoint. Mine came from a yellow letter. Used to send out 2,000 of those a week. Used to hand print them. Not hand print them, but you know what I mean. You got to line up the lines and everything.
Yeah.
All that type of stuff. And this was a probate that was off a yellow letter. And we were going to buy it. The numbers didn't make sense to buy, so we were going to list it instead. Unfortunately, his wife had passed away. What I didn't realize at the time, because he was like, look, I just got to get the probate taken care of, and then we'll list and all that type of stuff. We had a great relationship. What I didn't realize at the time was that was his wife, but she was previously married, had a bunch of, a whole family that he was not involved in whatsoever. And so I'm just like, yeah, dude, like probate, be done soon. We're good, bro. Like, and so she was the breadwinner. And so he starts hitting me up for like, hey, like, she's gone now, man. And I'm just living in this house. I'm paying for it by myself. Like, I can't even afford the water bill or the electricity or any of this other
You're
stuff.
paying somebody's legit utilities.
Bro. And it started, you can ask Lady about this. It started to add up. And I did this for like 3 months. And got to the point where it finally was the tipping point, was he was like, honestly, instead of just doing this every month, like, why don't you just prepay me a credit card? And I was like, wait. It's a real thing that happened. And then I was actually...
I've never heard this story.
Bro,
I've never heard this either.
Do you remember the Red Day where we did the assisted living facility?
Yes.
I was literally at that Red Day, and another agent calls me. He's like, hey, man, your sign's out here, and I don't mean to be a jerk, but the probate attorney hired me to sell this house, and I have to remove all your stuff. And I was like, he probably lost the probate to his stepson. So I did not get those couple $1,000s back, but I needed a listing, man.
Those will teach you, man.
Yeah.
In real estate,
You'll
if
never
you've
do that again.
never written a check for something that you have no control over, then
So it gets better.
You haven't
That's what I'm
real
trying to
estate.
say. We all make dumb mistakes.
That's funny. What are we doing?
I like question 38.
All right. I mean, okay.
Or I like
mean,
there was
I
or I
think
like
we've done
question
this one
32.
before.
I don't think.
But
I
it doesn't have to
think
be
we've
full.
all made ridiculous claims about the animals we could murder with our bare hands.
Yeah,
I
you have.
still
I've watched
disagree
those
with all of
episodes.
that.
When they said the bear and stuff, your face. I'm
Nobody's
a real fan
fair.
of this
I think
show.
Brian-
It was like a.
Brian was the most
he's the only one.
ridiculous.
I'm the only one most ridiculous by saying I
Who
can
said
beat up a
a-
bird.
who said a
He
wolf?
says he can beat up like he.
That is
what?
not how it went. I
was
watched
one
it.
of y'all.
Nope.
I
watched
may
these
have
episodes.
overclaimed.
Ladies and
It was
gentlemen,
you. You said you
What
could beat up.
animal did I say?
Said you could beat up any dog.
Any dog.
Wow.
Bull. That is a complete...
I said I could beat up any bird that is not a state or
I did
national
forget
bird.
that some dogs
That's not
start
the
weighing
question
80,
we're
90,
answering,
100
boys.
pounds. I
Read-
know.
What's
if you
number
could beat up a
38?
Great Dane, I would be.
Oh, Great Dane
If you were
easily.
reincarnated,
I had a Great
Great
Dane
Danes don't wanna
bite a
fight.
hole through my hand.
I'm gonna rein
Well,
it in.
I'll bite a hole
Okay.
through his ass.
Here's the question, because I'm not answering it first. I have to think. If you were reincarnated as an animal based on your personality, what animal do you think you would come back as?
She says animal in an interesting way. Say it again.
What the fuck do you want me to say?
No, it's just say it again.
Animal.
Animal.
How do you say
Tell
it?
me that wasn't a little
Animal.
Yeah, animal. There's more of an an. You say
Go try
animal. You say animal.
Animal.
And we say animal.
So do I, bruh.
I'm telling you,
Listen.
go back and watch it. You're gonna hear it. You just changed it.
If you waste time going back to watch your things and don't post them, you're wasting time. The sooner you guys understand how much money you make per hour,
Reincarnated.
again,
It has to
don't
be an
watch it
animal.
back, don't edit it. What
Do you want to live long or be strong?
Wait, but
No, I don't want to live long.
So you're not gonna be a tortoise. Okay.
But-
Can we do the go back in time one? That's way better.
What
we
was
also
it?
talk about like what kind of lifestyle is an animal. Like, I would be.
OMG, why do you take it so deep?
No, because that's going to make
Like,
my
are
choice.
you a stray dog,
Yeah.
or like, do you
Not-
belong to a prince?
I feel like I want to. I feel
I
like
would
question
probably
is,
be a
what would you
dog in the
come-
Force household.
I would be a
because those
lioness
dogs
or a
live very
those dogs
long.
live
Puma.
fat.
Yeah.
But they only live for like 14 years. That's not.
Who
That
wants
ain't
to
long
be
enough.
a
But that,
dog?
no, that's,
they don't know.
But for
I might
one,
be a gorilla because
every
I'm
year,
super
that's 7
strong
years
and I'm
to live.
smart.
They don't know.
Yeah.
I'm super strong and I'm smart.
Who?
A gorilla.
Are they smart?
Bro, gorillas are still in the ape family. They ain't idiots.
But
They have opposable thumbs. They can use shit as tools.
Are we saying intelligent?
You want to be a dolphin? What the
smart
fuck are you
on
gonna do?
what level? Like, are we comparing that to a rock or like a?
Compared to other animals, what are we talking about?
How do we?
Animals with opposable thumbs. You got to choose something, right? Like, are
Just
there
can
other
you
animals
put
that
the
might be
questions
smarter?
again?
Sure.
I do feel like
But
there's
can
a
I
weird.
pick up a rock and smash things with it?
We don't
Can
actually.
we say what animal we think the other would come back as? Since Like
That's
I
fair.
feel
We
like
could do
you'd be
that.
a bear.
We don't have a universe. Yes, 100%.
Like
Physically
scratching his
looks
back
like
against
one.
a tree.
Yes,
I feel like we
100%.
say animals are smart.
It'd be a very serious.
We don't
bear.
have a universal barometer for like what does an animal need to achieve
I have
to
heard
actually be smart.
I have heard that dogs are the equivalent intelligence of a toddler. That's just no science
Correct.
behind it. Just read it on the
I can
interweb.
tell you,
I'll tell
my
you right
dog
now,
is dumb as
if I
shit.
saw a bunch of pigs,
So are toddlers.
like, all right, I'm just comparing them to like children. Okay, so like if I saw a bunch of pigs in their free time lining up for like 4-on-4 street football touch, I'd be like, those are smart. Like
Those
they're
would
in
be
a fucking
super smart pigs.
Like, they just ran a button hook. That's amazing. I would be like, that's very smart. But I've never seen. I feel like most animals are just doing the same
What about
stuff.
a dolphin?
No,
I don't
dolphins
know.
are actually smart.
Dolphins are the rapists of
Dolphins
the
are
sea.
rapists. I
Don't
have
you dare.
Dolphins are rapists.
I'm not
they are
saying
rapists.
they're dumb. I've just only
I'm from
seen them
Florida.
swim.
Pigs are
Trust
actually
me,
very smart.
manatees
though.
are like the
You picked a good
golden
animal. Pigs
retrievers
are
of the
smart.
sea.
Pigs are smart.
Pigs also
can
taste
break-
really
like
good.
a velociraptor.
Right? They can
Is that
break
what
into
they're doing?
safes.
Do
Right?
they, like, pigs can
No, they
break
can get
into-
out of cages and shit though.
They can get out of cages. I think that's different than breaking into a safe. But
Well,
okay.
yeah. I mean, like they're not going to heist a bank,
I
but they're
think you
definitely
could
going to
be
get
a
out of a
woolly
swipe.
mammoth.
I probably would be. That's
You're just judging
accurate.
off the beard and everything.
No, I'm just
That's
saying,
fair.
like personality-wise, like what kind of animal would you be?
I mean,
I feel like you would be.
yeah,
She have walked herself into a fucking
yeah.
I was gonna say a couple things. A
hear it.
gazelle, maybe is it a lemur? The ones that are like,
Those are equally hurtful.
That is fucking
they're
great.
so smart though. They're devious.
I
Okay.
don't understand.
So I need old
they're
school people to
devious.
show up.
They're
I need
incredibly smart.
I need Corey Mills or Aaron Foster to show up, and I need an immediate
super
Photoshop
funny.
of Brian as a lemur.
Oh, God.
I am putting out the APB. Somebody tag those dudes.
Isn't that like Madagascar?
ASAP.
I'd
Yes.
like to move it.
Yes, that's those
Oh,
dudes.
that's the guy you want to be associated with.
No,
from
not
that.
the king
That
of
wasn't
them.
even the most popular guy in Madagascar.
He wasn't the star.
Okay, so what time period would you go back to? That's our default.
Ooh,
and
okay.
why?
So if we were picking 10 years from 1900 to now, like what decade? I
no, just
believe-
infinite, forever, whenever.
Well, so if I could be in the 20s in Prohibition, like I was doing the underground jazz stuff and I was illegally, I was wearing those great clothes and illegally having those underground parties, or my ego, I would love to be in the 80s in construction and cocaine and the world.
Construction and cocaine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. Like,
I like the
80s
80s.
isn't bad. There's a part of me that they're like, look, I'm gonna erase the obvious things that like as a man would maybe say. The 50s looked like a time when everything was just going good. As an American, we just kicked ass in a world war. We're not really to the like. Look, I understand all the problem with the 50s. There was a lot of freaking sketchy shit
Segregation,
going
for
on.
one.
No, well, and women and like look. I'm not. That's what I'm trying. I was trying to skirt this and saying I'm not trying to say
You
this.
could not be a part of it. You could be
I'm
a
just
beacon
saying
for
the
change.
vibe, the white picket fence, the family, like
Leave it to
yeah,
Beaver.
the ice
up on that?
chest, right? Like it was just all of it seemed so
Fake.
just small town, corny. And I like that level of stress relief. That seemed like
He is from
every day the
Iowa.
sun shined in that shit, right? Like, and I know it didn't, but you could pick any time and say it didn't work out. Prohibition wasn't great for women, right? Like Prohibition, right? Like so. Oh, there you go.
But first of all, wait, like that's where
Would
you're
not have
choosing
let you
women
have any
in the
power.
20s.
No,
like
you said that
but
you
that's-
wanted to go back.
Well, because
to
I'm
the
not going to
20s.
dive into race, but if the 50s sucked, the 20s blew mega hard.
Well, I was a saxophonist, and when
Well,
you
I'm
hear-
just a
so
guy who's just trying to
but-
live in a Leave It to Beaver situation, but you're attacking me.
Your standards
I
are
was
higher
thinking
for what you
about
want.
jazz orchestras and when the saxophone came and in 1923 after the war, and just these incredible musicians. And one of my favorite pieces, I'll go geek out on music
Please.
right now, but no, I won't.
I wish I could be
But-
10 years older in the 90s. I started the
gonna say the
90s were
90s.
my
How old are you?
decade. I'll be 44 a
Okay,
month from
so we're
tomorrow.
same.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
So like if I could go, the 80s were not my jam because the hair and everything. Like I just hated the music, the vibe. I hated the pastels and the neons. It was just the worst. The 90s as a kid from Iowa was so awesome for me. Like I loved my little 90s
I was gonna
life.
say, if I could,
But if I could have been 20 years older and really enjoyed it in a way where I was a grown up
Yeah.
and able to feel cool about it,
that's what I was
Yeah,
going
which
to
is why
say.
I would love
If you
to
go
see
back
you.
too far, you don't know enough about that time period to be successful.
Yeah.
90s for me, but at my age would be amazing.
yeah.
I know enough to be able to kind of predict the future. I also know how to blend in, and I kind of know what's going to be cutting edge soon, so I can kind of get ahead of it. I can always know what's about to happen.
Isn't it like?
And it's just amazing time. 90s in New York is unreal.
So I grew up in New York.
I know, that's the best time.
And my father in the 80s ran one of the biggest construction companies in New York City. So my childhood is fascinating, but I will say that if I could go back, the 80s was this decade of excess.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and Oscar Wilde says, nothing succeeds like excess. Like, favorite show, American Greed. There's so much that I wish I could
She
geek
wants
out
to be
with
the
you
bad
guys.
guy.
I know, she does.
Well, white collar crime is, these guys are diabolically smart.
Yes.
So it always it's a turn on to watch how they can even cook up these things.
There is something that is inherently sexy about like intellectual crime. I'm not going to deny that. That's
Anyone
100%.
can stab someone.
No, it's
Yes.
awesome. It hurts the most people. You guys are fantastic humans.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying it's interesting.
Just fucking with you. That's what we were doing. They were just bus driving over each other this whole
I got
segment.
nothing to say on that, Jesse.
I
Don't
just
put
want
the
to
camera
say
on me.
I love the fact that I got to come back and
I
be
know,
with you
me too.
guys. I love the show. I think for realtors everywhere, regardless of city, state, location, tuning into this, and we talked about this earlier, you guys are just having a conversation, and it's so authentically you. You bring all the heart. And I said this earlier, you're so vulnerable. You're always talking
confusion.
about like what you're striving for. You always talk about the economy, and so I appreciate this because you're so smart.
We didn't even get to that article you wanted to
I
read.
know, and you always rein it in. Like you are just the gatekeeper of control, patience. So I just want you, as a realtor, if you're
a lot
not
of work
listening
over
to
here.
It
this
is.
show, you're missing the boat. They have a whole Facebook group for you to join to talk about it. So I'm just saying, like I found this, and I've been fangirling for so long, and now that I'm with you guys, it's just so fun.
We're going to send it to you just so when you repurpose this content, you can throw it up. The funny thing about the way you just described us is exactly what the magazine cover looks like.
Yes.
It's Nick standing in the middle like a pissed off parent, Brian doing finger guns like some sort of
Both
freaking
of you
maniac.
doing finger
And then,
guns.
no, I'm doing jump out flexi style like a moron, right? That's actually perfect. And that was shot late 2019 or something, late 2020.
Yeah, right before, because it came out January 2020, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
so that was late 2019.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Nick was prepping.
What we
Yeah,
prep-
Nick was still prepping.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, what was I prepping
For the impending disaster.
No, that started February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're on top of it.
Yeah, he waited till the last minute.
Heather and I were talking because it's all in the garage, and I'm like, yeah, I think we got to throw that food.
Yeah, dude. The
What if there's another wave?
The MREs are good for like another 5 years.
Those are
They're straight.
good. The live straws are good, but
live
the canned food's got to go.
Yeah, you're probably right. You guys should have cycled it. You just didn't plan properly. You should have cycled that through your current stores.
But you can't because you always got to
Eat more tomato
it's a pyramid
sauce.
scheme. It's a pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid scheme of prepperism. You just because once you replace it, then you got to go do it. But if you just keep in the garage,
That's where I'm going to get.
It's
all the
actually
tuna
how
that I eat
Del
for
Monte
lunch
built
from
their
now on.
business. They just started selling green beans and carrots to people who are prepping and just got them into this loop of using
Heather,
their product.
you should see. We have it in our
replacing
garage. Heather's got this. She ordered green beans because we were, this lean and green type meal plan that we're on. And usually they're the small ones, but whatever she clicked it's those big ass cans, and we've got like 5 of those in there. Because once you open, it's like, what do you do with it?
Yeah,
You have to eat all of them. So,
Ash was just so sick of green beans.
look, I think we crushed the prep side. I mean, we were definitely prepared.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
I love it. I love how they're.
It's not for nothing.
Our vacation stopped for 90 days.
Yeah,
That was all.
not for- I think it was more than 90 days. We're gonna go back and look at this show now and be like, oh, we got to delete this.
Delete
one.
this
no,
one.
it's green beans smorgasbord.
We're the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah. Kelderman's making fun of COVID.
I am not.
90-day
Very
vacation
much.
stop.
COVID's real.
Listen, talk to these guys about all them being afraid to put a needle in their body.
I'm not.
No,
I
there's
do it
only one
twice
of
a
us here
week.
that is.
Yeah.
You do it twice a week.
Yeah,
Is
there's
that
a-
why you're so big?
I do one on Monday and do one on Friday.
I only do Fridays. Well, that's my mistake.
Do you know what I do?
These guys are using way too
Real
much
estate.
heroin.
Dr. Gershon.
Okay.
Go to Dr. Gershon.
Now y'all been pushing me to do that.
Wrap
for a
it
while.
up.
Dr. Gershon.
Let's go back to
Aspen.
Telluride and he'll meet us there.
Let's go.
Right.
No, he's in. Yeah, but we got to go to Aspen first. We'll go
All
to
right.
Aspen.
Oh.
Can I handle that elevation?
Jesse, are you okay? We have to go to Aspen. Are you going to be good with that?
I'm down.
All right.
I mean, it's
We got it.
medical. It's a write-off.
Yeah.
I hate,
love
By
Aspen.
the way, I hate when people say it's a write-off.
It's right because you still
Doesn't mean the money's free.
You know, it's like, oh, I saved money.
I
No,
just-
it still
that
costs you
actually
money to get
tactical.
there.
If you are one of those realtors that does some shit, you're like, well, I'm just going to write it off. You're
Good
not
luck
getting
buying
all
a
the money
property.
back. You're not.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that aren't paying their
It's
taxes.
not like you get all the money back, by the way. It just offsets your income.
And then you're
But
not
it's a
buying an income
write-off.
property.
Yeah.
It's
What is
like
that from?
It's
Is that
from
Schitt's-
Seinfeld.
Schitt's-
They
Schitt's
just
Creek.
write it off.
Schitt's
Or
Creek.
Schitt's Creek, yeah.
Schitt's Creek.
Who
It's a
writes it
write-off.
off?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a write-off.
The government. It's a write-off.
I did watch that show. Yeah. It's the show. I did
Nick
watch.
can name one show and Coldplay, one band.
No, I'm watching Tulsa Kings right now.
Okay.
I don't
Oh
even
my
know
God.
that. Is that good?
Tulsa
Sylvester
Kings.
Stallone?
Oh my God.
What's
Sylvester
Tulsa
Stallone?
Kings about?
He's this mob guy that
Same guy that does.
he gets
Stallone,
he
bro.
gets
Yeah,
exiled
Stallone.
to Tulsa.
Oh, I thought he was in the Tulsa mob. Okay.
Well, he was in the
Yes.
New York mob, and then he
Right.
got exiled. And
He had to
then
go to
you got to
Tulsa.
watch it, but
He's going to start a new mob in Tulsa?
just wait.
It's a tough
I
crowd.
don't know. I think this Sunday is the
Right
series.
pickings.
The season finale. I think is this Sunday.
Tulsa's just ready for.
I'm
them.
watching that one.
What's it on?
It's Paramount Plus.
Do you have that with Spectrum?
Generic.
I think no. Is it
I do.
Paramount Plus?
Yes.
There's
Is it
Paramount and then Paramount Plus.
Is
I
it-
know because you get football
Is
on
it the
Paramount
same
Plus. You're
login?
trying to tell me
Yeah,
it's
it should be.
Spectrum.
Okay.
Just
I'll
get a
use the same
jailbroke
login.
Fire Stick
All right.
and stop paying for all this shit.
You know
What's wrong
who?
with you
Do you
guys?
know who told me how to jailbreak my Fire Stick?
The interwebs?
Yeah.
The cable guy.
Oh, for sure he did.
Those are the best dudes.
I'll tell you right now, I bought my jailbroke Fire Stick from a dude for 60 bones, and it works
P.S.
great.
I feel like if like 10 or 15 new people join your Facebook group and they're watching these, I would give one person like a 45-minute coaching session.
You should have
with
told
me.
us
Boom.
that before
I
the
know.
end of the show.
I'm
Yeah,
just
it's only
saying,
We're
like,
an
six
hour and
people
20
watching that.
minutes
but
into
here's the
this.
thing, like, I
There's
just
6
feel like
audience.
if people want to get value, like, stop watching TV, start watching these
That's
guys.
true. Stop jailbreaking your stuff.
Here's what we need to do. We need to
Who
go.
said that?
We need to do a different live in the group. We're not on the
comment.
comments right now.
No, I thought
we need
we
to go live in the group again and offer up a. We get 15. We get 15 new members, or you invite 15 people because this is the contest, Brian. and
Yeah,
I
do an
used to run
invite.
this.
Yeah.
So you invite people to the only Facebook group worth being a part of, and then you can jump on a call with Beth.
Yeah,
but
man.
it's a group call.
Oh, you guys, they'll never have the schedule for that. Forget them. And it's going to be more valuable with me a little bit because
I have so much free time. I'll talk to anybody.
No, it's a group Zoom. Let's make it a Zoom call.
Yeah.
good luck getting our schedules together.
It'll be fine.
There's absolutely.
good.
This is the only.
Listen to
time
all these
any
people
of us
talk
have
about
ever
it.
been free at the same time.
Yeah.
This is why I'm
Mortgage Mike
myself
is
here.
never free because he's always waiting and available to take your
Now
calls.
he's making videos.
Yes.
And making videos. So you should go to mortgageMikeOfTexas.com. Send all your buyers to him, please, and get that Mortgage Mike stamp of approval.
Chunk.
Yep. And then get Theron a home warranty. He needs it for his birthday.
If he could get me a shirt, it'd be great.
If you send him a home
Darren,
warranty,
figure
he'll
it
get you a shirt.
Deal.
I just talked to him. I'm his
One
agent.
person send Beth or send a home warranty to Theron on behalf of Beth, and then Theron buy her shirt.
Yep. And then
I'll wear it on Instagram. It's
That
a
would
pretty
actually
big
be
deal.
a really fun
Yeah.
thought experiment. Theron, can you do? Because I have Armadillo hard shell protection on all my properties. You can sign up for it online. You fill out all the questions. Theron,
Armadillo.1/store.
if you can get your development person to add a squeeze page at the end, it's like, did Beth refer you? If you get enough checks, then she gets like an unlimited amount of shirts. That'd be a fun thought
For
experiment.
every home warranty sent to him, Beth should get a shirt.
I think that'd be super fun.
Yeah.
The
I like
whole
how we're
point
just
is it's a
spending other people's
one-page
money. There's-
thing. I want to see the one pager, because that's so
I know.
unheard of.
It is.
So
It's good.
that's a personal thing to see.
It is.
Yes. He doesn't show it to everyone.
OMG.
Yeah.
But you know who does show it to everyone?
Win. Oh my God.
You did.
I thought that's where you're going
And
with
we're
this. So, Dana Wynn, Homeward, DFW.com, the best property manager. She goes all out, plays real hard with it. And Homeward, DFW.com, the best property management company in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Beth, thank you so much for being on the show, and we hope that you can survive what just happened to you.
Dana, I'm so sorry. That's all Brian's fault. That's
Jesse,
not me.
end
That's all-
this.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the show today. Make sure if you're watching this on Facebook, you head over to our group, the only real estate group worth being a part of, so you can watch the extended conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And if you listen on the Apple Podcast, leave us a review. We'd really like it. So just do it. Do it. Do that over there. Go to this one. And then go to that one. Thanks.